YouTube comments from a video titled, Doctors Are Quitting Medicine, What They're Finally Saying Out Loud. Part 1.
At Charles Hopper 4638 wrote,
GPs are generally looked at as street-level drug pushers for the Big Pharma. No one trusts them. They are trained in the Big Pharma system, which ignores diet, nutrition, and supplements vitamins and minerals. There is no holistic approach. Just prescribe another med so you can get that trip to Maui.
At Beforial 5497 wrote,
Medical and education are being made chaotic on purpose. It's so that people accept AI. Once the majority of people accept AI in medical and education, then it'll be accepted in everything.
At Larry Harvey 7709 wrote,
It's pretty sad when I know more about nutrition and diet than my doctor. You said it, honey. They have to break you because. You know why.
Akadgar07 wrote,
My wife's doctor tried to get her jabbed when she was pregnant with our first. I asked her for the effectiveness. She said I got it, and I'm fine, to which I said, isn't that anecdotal evidence? She got all pissy and said she'd get me the studies. I'm still waiting for those studies.
At Nanas Travels wrote,
I started in 1999. I left in 2014. After the OCA was released, I read it. I couldn't morally conform to the underlying dark plan. The pandemic was there, decreases in population was there, euthanized programs are there. I wasn't going to participate in the genocide of millions. I walked away. I seen I was right during COVID. I seen what doctors did, where they bent their morals and, in my opinion, forfeited their integrity for something we knew was completely wrong. Fast forward to our modern situation. When a nobody pencil pusher in an insurance company can override years of medical training and hands-on hours of professional work, we are on the very, very, very wrong path. Underneath the carpet, where nobody looks, we are fighting a controlled food system that is literally poison, given a treatment plan that is developed by the same people causing the problems. I've been driving with a CDL, integrity intact. My knowledge will always be mine. That's one thing they couldn't take ownership of. Best of luck to all of you.
At Florence Hager wrote,
Most doctors don't have the freedom to treat their patients. They have to fill a quota per day. Patients are just a number, according to the hospital board.
At Jacelia Pereira 0 wrote,
According to Klaus Schwab, we won't need hospitals or doctors. The nanotech that they injected people with will treat your problem. The only thing is, these psychopaths think the world is overpopulated. My beef with the medical industry is that they deridrum for profit. They should have united and spoken out about the COVID scam sooner instead of making dance videos.
At Roscoe Picatrain 4042 wrote,
eHealth read, AI, therapeutics, mRNA gene therapies, etc. is going to subsume the entire healthcare system, to the point that DRS will be like everyone else in the world, NPCs.
Plaidfad wrote,
I respect and celebrate everyone that has made the decision to leave. I know this wasn't easy, but the best decision in these industries never is. I would argue.
At Bergie Weiner wrote,
When the healthcare industry is run by bean counters, there is a real problem. Doctors know what their patients' needs, but have to fight the insurance companies to get approval to go ahead with treatment. The system is broken and needs to be fixed.
At Listad wrote,
Isn't it better to just move out of the US? Or is the college debt too high for that? Many Americans go outside of the country for their healthcare anyways, and the healthcare systems aren't perfect, but definitely better elsewhere.
At Subaranemic wrote,
The problem is not only are they leaving medicine, it's that they took the place of other people who may have been better suited to the stress. Women becoming doctors is easily the worst idea ever. They get stressed out, they get pregnant, and then they're gone. It takes a particular kind of person to be a doctor, and all the time and resources needed to produce a doctor are wasted. Doctors are not workers, they're an end product. Average Joe can't just take up medicine, he needs more than a decade of education. And in this country, there is a cap on the number of doctors that can be produced yearly. A doctor who quits medicine steals two postions.
M. Flournoy 2971 wrote,
Y'alls need to take the insurance company element out of your business model. You do not need them to bill. I do not know how a Wall Street POS gets to decide what treatments are given and at what costs. I don't expect a doctor to worry about billing. His or her practice should be all about the medicine A&D healing. However, it does not work that way. The insurance company is the tail wagging the dog.
At Trollofthier 7963 wrote,
My skin doctor told me that he could never work in a clinic or hospital. He had to get into private practice and chose dermatology because the malpractice insurance was cheap. Seems he loves cutting off moles and feels great about being a skin doctor since he's caught many small melanomas and saved lives doing so.
At D. Cooper 1567 wrote,
I feel so bad for our healthcare providers. I agree with all reasons given by those that are trying to become effective in the medical profession. It's like everything is working against them. I have a most wonderful APRN. When she left our rural hospital, I found out where she went. The hospital didn't even mail out her letters she had for each PT, and I drive 3 hours one way just to see her. Greed and corruption are ruining the dreams of many and ruining that of PT care. I feel for the medical profession.
At Franco F. 2306 wrote,
When doctors were almost all men, they do not quite work. But actual doctors are women or feminist women, and they want all benefits, but no responsibility or fatigue that men have always had throughout the human history. Then, doctors quitting medicine reason is women feminist ideology at the end, not other reason. None empathy with those women doctors, of course, not all women doctors.
At What Dwatwell Tuanito wrote,
OMGI. Every industry/profession that pulled in women en masse are collapsing. I'm sure it's NOT because women are too agreeable and lets administration walk all over them. Nah.
Stan B3V wrote,
These bits show why our systems are crumbling. We train women for the most complex jobs just so they can be in close proximity to actual doctors. Then they marry one and quit their job. Guaranteed this is what most of these are about.
At Valerie Heaps 3793 wrote,
It's a shame not one of these medics happened to mention the disastrous situation for the patients who are medicated to the eyeballs and often left in a worse state after treatment than before. Lifestyle and nutrition are never mentioned, even though quite often emphasizing these vital issues would be far better for the patient. I feel sorry that the healthcare system doesn't improve the lives of doctors or patients. That is why many patients don't show the required gratitude.
As Steve Chambliss E5J9P wrote,
If you know in your heart it's the right thing to do, everything will work out for you. But if you know what I am, you are doing is wrong. No, matter what it is, you will keep going down in life. Do the right thing. Always God bless you all.
A Daytruan wrote,
It's crazy that getting medical care is a question of cost. It is batshit insane that it has become. You have to be wealthy to be able to afford treatment at all for essential needs. When corporations run hospitals and the companies that provide the drugs and equipment do things like hike prices to beyond absurd prices on top of insurance being at their mercy too. It's just a recipe for uprising. These poor people going so deep in debt just to get into medicine don't have options and get burned out on top of their high demand role, having few candidates who even qualify or are interested in doing this hard work. This applies to many things in the US right now. It's like the same people fell asleep and some clowns took the wheel. Stuff's super whacked, yo.
Edivalova 25 wrote.
Think all have high levels of empathy. They all got into the profession thinking they were going to help people and not into a jaded system. Teaching is same. Structures put in place to lift are suffocating under corporate greed post-2000.
Eddie Stronger 5313 wrote.
Funnily enough, the stupid ads shown on this vid are a bunch snake oil quacks. Many comments mentioning faith or supplements thinking it'll help. Poor education has made the US stupid.
Ed Miller 3580 wrote.
I have been praying that doctors go back to small clinics without the hassles of insurance. Maybe become concierge doctors or take retainer payments al final del día o cash upon visit.
At what Justin wrote.
Practices used to have 2 to 4 slow days a month. A necessary breather. Computers have created the possibility to have a patient in and out in 12 minutes, door to door. And 4 to 8 new patients walking in within that same 12 minutes, depending on practice size. It's possible now for a doctor to walk into an exam room to see a new patient every 8 minutes. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
At Francia Limolo wrote.
It's truly very frustrating when you have an ideal way of life and professional principles that are completely overridden by the system, by the way things work, within a logic of power and the interests of large corporations. This doesn't only happen in medicine, but in the entire healthcare system that doesn't prioritize the patient's well-being, or any company that doesn't respect its employees as people. Unfortunately, we are living in a world where our character is challenged all the time by unscrupulous people.
At Time Particles wrote.
The medical industry is going through a huge change now. AI is amazing at diagnosing a patient's medical problems, with access to thousands of years of data in an instant, with even the herbal methods of Hippocrates to high-tech innovations of today. It would be more cost-productive for hospitals and medical institutions to have AI systems in place on every floor and in every specialized unit and clinic than to pay the high wages to more doctors. Middle-wage technicians could help with the information flow to and from the AI system, where the illness is diagnosed immediately, and prescribed medications and treatment will be submitted for the patient. Only a very few actual doctors, if any, would be on staff. The nursing staff would also be at a minimum, where the future patients would be used to speaking to AI systems directly. Emergency room doctors would be replaced with robots designed to repair broken bones and stitch wounds and evaluate accidental poisons and toxins and burns and remove splintered fragments in sensitive areas. This is the new agenda.
At Pam Giuliani 9179 wrote.
I walked away from the medical field after 30 years. Tired of being programmed and losing myself and losing my right to fight for my patients. The medical industrial complex pharmaceutical companies owns you. Seeing the shots pushed even when patients are dropping was the final straw for me. I was not going to be part of harming those I swore to protect.
At I Am Just 1551 wrote.
Sidebar. Listening to these females and their justifications is literally how they quit and excuse everything they do. Relationships they end have literally the same talking points. So, no, you get no praise or honor for being brave. The rewards are for the faithful. And endurance is hard, but that's life. You don't deserve happy or convenient, and you will never find it. And when you run out of time, you will only have resentment and regret. But good luck.
Don Appen wrote.
Better diet would actually negate the need of a doctor.
Doctors have no idea the power of nutrition. It's what got the patients sick. It's also what will help their body heal itself. I used low carb. I've literally never felt better in my adult life.
At Adair Janney 7109 wrote,
But guys, you don't get it. You are not special. I feel exactly like this in my job, and it's nothing like your job. I think everyone feels like this unless you are working for yourself. Work sucks.
Egalt 308 wrote,
Not to mention that the system is the third official leading cause of death 2013 and has been the leading cause of death in reality since 1998.
Tfushampoo 904 wrote,
People don't understand how much the insurance and hospital core have really changed medicine. I have to constantly explain my observations that show how care has declined, but it is not BC of doctors or nurses, but the corporations behind it.
Adjacent 80 wrote,
Welcome to the world of big medical core and insurance control.
The solution is in your own private practice, but that takes a lot of effort to get going.
A Gnome in Plaid C6C wrote,
I'm a caregiver. I took care of my elder relatives. I changed their diets to home-cooked meals and replaced their store-bought sugar snacks with leaving out bowls of grapes and sliced cantaloupe, watermelon, and other fruits, and was able to take them off their meds safely. Their blood pressure went down. Their thinking ability went up. They remembered more and laughed more often, gained mobility. Having someone else around that cares for you and about you, along with simple good food, does wonders.
At Diane Oliver 3078 wrote,
I'm sorry, but the medical field is messed up. Doctors don't care about patients anymore. Insurance companies rule the world, and the decisions are not made by doctors but greedy businessmen. Doctors, start trying to help actually heal people instead of keeping everyone sick and practicing all the cutting skills. I know insurance companies rule you, but break out of it and start caring about treating problems and not symptoms.
At Adair Janney 7109 wrote,
I've always treated my doctors with the utmost respect. For one, they are the one that I need to help me. I love my doctors.
If any patient ever talked to me like that as a doctor, I would kick them out of the hospital. I would just tell the boss or whoever that they are an impossible patient to work with, and I will not accept being talked to like that. I also, as a patient, if I saw another patient talking to a doctor like that, I would say, hey bro, fine, then leave. No one is making you be here. How odd. I hope most patients are not like this. How terrible. I do not blame you. They act like you owe them something.
The Soda Pop 8 wrote,
The lady at 10 sounds like a whiner. I have supported a medical student through school. Most of the people I met at the school, I would not consider good people.
The Suswemia wrote,
We have a major shortage of physicians here in my state, where many were employed by Ochsner hospitals. They are forcing these doctors to see too many patients and spend too little time with each. They are forced to push psych drugs on their patients. There your engrenst pliv. Or so mir a engrenst pliv. There a or air 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 air. It's become a multi-billion-dollar scam. It's a damn shame. I feel bad for you physicians, BC. You work so hard to become one, and then you have hospitals working against you. Um, and, 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 and so, and, 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 Elliot, 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 Elliot. Don Bullfash, 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 Don Bullfash.
A CYBPY wrote,
Governments and corporations are greedy, and we humans are the victims. Work for yourself, not for a hospital corporations. My doctor told me that if he were young now, he wouldn't have become a doctor because of the constant desk work instead of doing the work as a doctor.
A Shep Can't Dance wrote,
25. 43 okay. Explain this to me though. Most doctors were self-employed. That's not most though. Now 60 to 80% are employed by the hospital system. Gotcha. But what were those 80% doing back when 20% were self-employed? And what is that 20% doing now?
Plain James X9K wrote,
I think all these doctors should be happy they made it to become a doctor once in their life. Doesn't mean they have to do it the rest of their lives.
A Jalicia Harden wrote,
I'm a dentist. The same is happening here. It's just the healthcare industry in the US in general, and these greedy insurance giants. But providers are always to blame. The burnout and student debt isn't worth it.
A JM Gons wrote,
As a recently retired internist after 30 years in practice, I noticed that these were all women physicians that were bailing out. It's a very, very tough career and takes immense dedication and sacrifice.
At Justine Cooper 9575 wrote,
1630, at the end of it, I would be able to live in a 4,000 square foot house with a 3-car garage, but my porch would have to sit outside in the rain, in a gated community with armed security to protect me from the plebs. She left that out.
At AGIU9LV wrote,
I was on the doctor track in the late 90s. My boyfriend was the child of 2 doctors, and they both told me DO and OTDO IT based upon what they were seeing. This trend began over 25 years ago. I'm no longer with their son or in touch with them, but I am eternally grateful to them.
A John Smith QB2JE wrote,
Doctors and nurses today are just human robots following the protocols given to them by hospitals and managers. Plus, the US healthcare system is the most expensive in the world, and the results aren't good if you look at the general health of Americans.
At a Hutton 61 wrote,
I'm sorry all these young people are leaving their jobs. I know they went into it with the right intentions, and their system is beating them down, and I take my hat off to you. Leave if you're not happy, and never feel bad about trying to find your own happiness. Job be damned, leave IFYO T vibing with THE job. Love y'all, and take care of yourselves.
At Max Power R2E2Y wrote,
It is called physical exhaustion. You are all sick, but aside from fatigue, you don't see the symptoms. Why? Something is violating your stamina. It could be psychological, like my Asian hacker degrading other Asians online with catfish toilet journalism to fend off the police attention. Or it could be in your diet. Never consume fructose or liquor. Get a cat for a stress relief. Seek out your happy place. Take more mini vacations. Consuming milk and tomato juice are perfectly healthy. I have a tendency to warp space and time to affect the planet. It is involuntary because the Trump crime family holds the website for self-enrichment, human trafficking and terrorism. I am here involuntary and try to warn people of any pain, harm, or emotional scarring caused by my captivity. They use credible death threats. Nothing can be done about it.
At Nicolenitizia Maisai wrote,
I hope all of you talented healers will get into other forms of medicine and healing. There is so much potential out there with methods that are not accepted by the system, but that works. Example, healing with psychedelics, not for everyone, but for many it works. Other quantum healing Etsy please healers that leave THE system. Create something better with your abilities.
at Adair Jani 7109 wrote,
I'll tell you exactly what is going on. Notice it's ALL women around the ages of 30 to 50. They watched Grey's Anatomy and wanted to become a doctor. Became one and realized it's not Grey's Anatomy.
At Fulcanelli Rosetta wrote,
Ha, interesting. So they treat the female doctors like crap and the male patients like crap. It's almost like we need to whip out the antitrust stick and just start cracking open everything on the S&P and NASDAQ like a piñata. We need a reset and destroy these huge companies that are cutthroat.
Mgraph 1 wrote,
I admit the system is bad, however. Why does this generation think they are entitled to respect? I have earned respect 100s of times and still never gotten it. Boo, who I never once heard how the patient you know, the one suffering from all angles, including pain and financial need extra care, you should, at least, be able to see things from the sufferer's position and still help instead of being offended because you think, why, oh, you deserve this or that. My God, it's basic human decency, and to complain about how difficult you have it instead of learning some basic human skills to deal positively with people's difficult situations is unbelievable. You have an opportunity to model mutual respect despite your feelings. Your perceived offense and home work-life balance is not your patient's responsibility. Conduct yourself with respect and decency despite your self-entitlement. If you can't be helpful and respectful unless you have Churtaian conditions, retire, please.
at Average Americanusa wrote,
It's all about corporate greed, how much the bottom line is going to be nothing more, nothing less. It's disgusting. People are so rude today, it's unbelievable. They don't appreciate anything you can't take it to. My daughter-in-law is a neurologist. She's still training after 13 years. She's got 2 more years. It's a long time.
at Weather Ponies 7503 wrote,
I feel like this is all being done on purpose. My conspiracy is having all of these doctors start to quit only leaves room for emergency robot doctors to be put in place. And granted, some of these robots are still ran by surgeons, but some can be ran from a surgeon literally across the country. And what human rights or activism are you going to get from a robot or somebody who is a hardcore AI advocating greedy doctor?
at Darth Clippy 42 wrote,
Women shouldn't be doctors. People have said that for a while, but we're all called woman haters. No, we just realize women don't handle stress the same way as men do. They shouldn't be soldiers or cops either.
at Sue Reagan 2782 wrote,
There's an alternative for these disillusioned doctors. Alternate medicine without all the constraints placed on MDs. Naturopathic, chiropractic, Ayurvedic Eastern medicines, etc. Over the past year, I have received the best care from chiropractors who have gone into neurology, acupuncture, plus an acupuncturist who is a master of Eastern medicine who is helping heal my gallbladder.
at View from the Apophil wrote,
I wasn't a doctor, but I was in direct care and I left 5 years ago and I never regretted it. It was awful and I hated every minute of it. Medicare is the kingpin and the insurance company is its bulldog.
At Elise Owen 9402 wrote,
To the person that treated the doctor that volunteers her off time to a clinic is the lowest, most trash, unhuman person. I have a serious illness. None of my doctors will see me without insurance unless I pay $300 out of pocket. A clinic I just discovered is going to see me for free. People like her need to be on an island the once put there can fight it out. They are the problem with society and humanity. Oh, by the way, I went to a ER because my illness took my motor skills and sight. The hospital ran up a $300,000 bill. I was in the ER for 12 hours before taken back. When I was taken back, I was put from a wheelchair to a chair in the hallway. 3 o'clock in the morning, I was admitted to the hospital and put on a gurney in the hospital. When I finally seen the doctor, he said, "We are sending you home with steroids." A matter of 3 minutes. I was not given nausea medicine or given a referral. It has been 3 weeks, I can't afford to see my specialist, and I still can't walk or see. This is America. We should have the best of the best.
Etwang Goldenbass wrote,
I know it's messed up for our cherished healthcare workers. But just gotta say, how did "I'm just gonna post my feelings" ever become a common sentence in real life?
At Yvonne Camacho 9773 wrote,
When corporations run medicine, it's no longer about health, it's about lots of moolah for the corporations. Its employees become their underpaid servants just doing their will, not the sick people they were supposed to help.
At April Rain 60 wrote,
I've had many doctors back in my early 20s who refused to believe me when I had heart symptoms and breathing difficulties. When I turned 30, I had an AVM from my pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, which extended into my left lung. Long story short, I ended up with emergency surgery. It ruptured on the OR table, and I nearly died. Matter of fact, they told me I only had a 30% chance to survive the surgery. I'm 65 now and doing well. I've had great doctors and nurses, but I've had some terrible ones that literally risked my life several times. What's weird is I went into nursing and retired after 10 years because I could see what was coming.
At Rajasekar Ik2DW wrote,
My pediatrician charges me $200 per visit and requires a visit even for a school note. Goodbye if you can't be a doctor. There are millions of international medicos waiting to serve in the USA.
At Ryan Huck 6097 wrote,
Things are like this because the legal precedent is that greed and shareholder value is more important than the well-being of society. It's going to take a monumental collapse for things to actually change.
At Sinbad Lone Wolf 9455 wrote,
How about you give up the baloney and actually heal people you remember? Feeling right. Hello, B. Side. This is shocking. They are all NPC hospital people. Whoa! Not one says system. What a trip!
At Mike Smith 3899 wrote,
No sympathy for the allopaths, and perhaps an osteopath or two, crying, weeping, and wailing so much for the bad they took the oath of no-harmerism. Those that are unfamiliar with the Flexner Report should look it up, or read Paul Starr's The Social Transformation of American Medicine. The entire system was set up to create a legally enforced oligopoly for the allopaths and osteopaths, while simultaneously reducing the supply of those that could legally provide the services in question. Physician compensation has zero to do with years of schooling. It has everything to do with supply and demand. The majority of primary care services can readily be handled by NPs and PAs. For those saying, but the quality and but the error rates, can rest assured that the former is not reduced, and that the latter is not increased. Odd indeed, how the years of schooling need special legal protections to cover for incompetence such as misdiagnosis, leaving surgical instruments in patients, etc. For years, Foreign-trained physicians needed only but complete a residency in the U.S. In order to practice in the U.S., the Tijuana Tech MD will be seeing you. Now, some states are removing the need for completing a U.S. residency. But I want a work-life balance and oh no's. Insurance crowd can and will be readily replaced.
Ed Elise Owen 9402 wrote,
A CEO of a healthcare insurance company made $505,000 a week. A week! The doctors don't even make that. Family of three spend $1,200 a month on insurance and still pay out of pocket. WTF is going on in TVIS country?
At Carrot Top 3454 wrote,
The problem is that insurance companies run the doctors and their medical decisions to go with the least cost. Insurance is a complete scam and post-record profits. Plus, the big pharmaceutical companies are tied into hospitals too to feed us Band-Aid drugs to keep our sickness going.
At Invisible Visible 793 wrote,
Open cash-only clinics. I had an alternative medicine doc cash only prior to 2019, and she actually was able to treat my symptoms pan-flu when the hospital-associated doc refused. Now I've chosen alternative cancer treatments, and my cash-only doc referred me. She gives no shots, but people can seek that out elsewhere. That's Dr. Freedom. These clinics are always full, Mennonites, Hutterites, Amish. My insurance still covers traditional meds and specialist referrals.
At Simbad Lone Wolf 9455 wrote,
Hard to be they don't see how broken the system is. Professional drug dealers. This is a system breakdown, not the fault of the individuals. Sad they feel that way. But I won't go near a death portal and I'm really healthy, Ambien.
At Monica Cook 3311 wrote,
The healthcare system is collapsing. Good. As it stands, it is beyond repair and needs to be razed to the ground and built anew. I hope that a majority of the American population will remain alive and in good health in the meantime.
At Griffin Cummins 3115 wrote,
Stop talking and form a physician national union. And yes, go on strike like other unions do to get what they want when they're not being treated right or being paid enough. Other unions hold companies hostage to get better working conditions. Why not healthcare? What better way to grab attention if doctors walk out and form a picket line? You would make the news. But I noticed only 3 guys. You probably need some more male support.
At WHIT Overton's Winda Climber wrote,
I will bend the LAWS for these people to actually perform healthcare. I'll hire security guards LOAL to the doctors only. I will scoerne assuming more nuka major on teratha mapling that Danella Brisno mest too. I'll make sure candidates for security have been patients saved helped by the doctors, so they'll love them and protect them from any outsiders including police or any other outside authorities. We must protect these people. Willeveration will never violate the oath.
At Georgia McGuire 692 wrote,
And I don't trust doctors. Never have, never will. Thank God Almighty for giving me that suspicion since I was a younger one. They are nothing more than used car salesmen. Yuck.
At Blev 2019 wrote,
It's not just corporations, government agencies set these protocols. I would like to believe they established these protocols with the best of intentions, but after one set of protocols after the next fails, the need to make the system work seems to have taken priority. There's simply too much oversight. I would rather liberate doctors to practice medicine to the best of their ability, than to be left wondering if my doctor is practicing medicine, or following a flowchart. Outcome success should be determined by the doctor and the patient, not by bureaucrats and insurers.
At Peace Harmony 1943 wrote,
Being a physician for 30 plus years in US, seen the transition from patient care to paper care. And now, 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 and now.
Edgecredley 876 wrote,
As a newly retired 41-year street and flight paramedic, I've seen the gargantuan change in the U.S. healthcare system that has chewed up and spit out so many wonderful people. Our healthcare system is itself on life support. Like so many other things in life that are corporate and intended to accommodate 340 people, our system will eventually fail. It won't do so because of the labor force, but because of the corporate profit mandate and the turning of the patient into an assembly line non-entity.
At Linda Gollier 9015 wrote,
Nengi, 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 Nenny, 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 Nenny. Only we have to take a hair more abuse from students, administration and with parents. We literally get ganged up on from every direction. I quit and I am glad. No me. No me. I quit. I dreaded that job every day.
At Catherine 5861 wrote,
You know, life-saving care for me was an IV. They decided to run blood tests at the ER and give me an ultrasound since I was pregnant. But they also wanted to ultrasound my cavity and see the blood flow. Guess what my bill was? $140 for the doctor, $260 for the ultrasound tech, $3,000 for the blood test, $4,000 for the analysis test in 3 hours, IV drip $5,000 for the ultrasound of the H3 baby, $10,000 for the ultrasound of the cavity, $1,000 for the ultrasound of the cavity, urine test $5,000 to $6,000 in miscellaneous test, coming up to a grand total of $31,000 for going into the ER with severe morning sickness.
At Mr. Crazian wrote,
It's a shame American doctors are getting burnt out. This will increase the shortage, and we will have a nation full of foreign doctors. Foreign. Doctors. 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 Going through the process of preparing for a medical career, it's already difficult. They make importing doctors from other countries easier than training homegrown professionals, who have to get every degree certification to get accepted. Our schooling system failed us, and now there are more foreigners attending our Ivy League schools, rather than American students.
At Pain and Pleasure 8704 wrote,
Being a EMT and having working EMS for 9 years, I've got to say, this is how EMTs feel for decades. You don't feel like you're paid enough for your work.
Chomla, 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 Chomla.
You feel unappreciated? Join the club losers. There's anyone to ring by, 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 anyone to ring by.
At Douglas Brandon wrote,
I'm sorry, but I can't take anyone serious that constantly plays with their hair and says she thinks that they are trying to break her and doesn't explain what the hell she's talking about.
At Joshua River Navarro wrote,
I'm sorry, but being a nervous is just like being a security officer or teacher or end-of-life counseling. I don't care is the same as working in a gas station, people, always complaining.
At Elizabeth Dorer 4831 wrote,
I am so grateful for our cheap Belgian universal healthcare. Yes, major procedures have to be okayed by your insurance, and usually they are. Doctors and hospitals are decision makers, and yes, we can choose our providers freely. There is a clear understanding that they will go out of their way to help. For some reason, I fail to understand our doctors and other staff are often treated aggressively.
At Crackerjack 74 wrote,
Whether it's the medical system, education system, et al., workers are being pushed to where they quit so the powers that be can fix the problem they created by putting AI and robots in charge of everything. We will all be serfs, including doctors.
At Jolo 4141 wrote,
To the doctor that was screamed at, I truly hate that for you. I don't go to doctors hardly ever. I have a mother that is 98 year. She had me as the 11th child as 40. I've always shown great appreciation to her doctors. But lately a newer doctor of hers because the one she had for so long retired. Anyway, they have prescribed medication to her that shouldn't be giving with others. I don't go off on the doctor or drugstore, but sometimes wonder if I should say something. Am always the daughter that checks things, then even check with family members that are nurses. And yep, there's been several mistakes, and maybe it's because of overwork, but I still treat them well, even when I was angry.
Defredist 1504 wrote,
The setup to fail is the quack advice given by doctors to patients that end up hurting or killing them. Examples: C19 death jabs, not giving ivermectin for COVID, stopping sugar instead of salt to reduce BP. Cholesterol isn't bad, Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes. Could go on and on. I listen to my doctor with a grain of salt and check what he says against other opinions.
At La Serenia wrote,
What needs to happen? Get rid of the medical monopolies and go back to small business medical. Get universal healthcare so the insurance companies can't demand a person pay more for unnecessary appointments/treatment. Healthcare wasn't always a capitalistic nightmare, and the laws that we had before were supposed to go back into place in the 80s. In short, you can't tell people who took oaths to protect lives that they have to instead put them in danger or lose their job without consequences. Eventually, karma collects.
At Homeland 6547 wrote,
I had a catastrophic head injury and misdiagnosed afterwards for post-concussion syndrome, constant debilitating pain, and they were all a nightmare experience. THE doctors have done more TO injure THE people than HEP. Sleeping IS illegal. L.
At Pioneered Grief M4D wrote,
It's about time the nurses from the day before and these doctors from today
start a new hospital, totally bypassing insurance companies and whatever regulation there is beyond the doctor's oath to well-being.
The Badri wrote,
The fact that any doctor would walk away from their profession says a lot about the healthcare industry. Big Health doesn't give a rat's a dollar about patient care quality. To them, patients are just cash cows, not human beings. They don't want doctors to be dedicated to providing the best care and doing what's best for the patient. Just squeeze the most profit out of every patient possible. Disgraceful. As a result, many doctors have become completely disgusted and disillusioned with the profession, and I don't blame them one bit for walking away.
At Homeland 6547 wrote,
What the hell is a surgeon general? Because you would think that they would be screaming that THE people need housey, and that on a land, WE need TO have farms A&D ranches.
At Old Bloom 1641 wrote,
I saw this coming decades ago. I had a full ride for med school/surgeon offered to me by the military. I looked at the cost of the full ride and what came after. Decided to pass.
At J.S. Stewart 100 wrote,
Society wasn't notified since the Hippocratic Oath was altered a while back. Useless eaters, global warming, capitalism, too many people buying RVs, etc. I think the COVID shots are just a ticking time bomb. Private equity like BlackRock and Vanguard are destroying everything in the West that they get their hands on.
At Van Evers TV wrote,
I had a life-saving surgery, so I love me a doctor. I also went to school for social work, and I definitely understand this burnout. I always tell folks I left the field because standing in the same breadline as my client made it so I never got off work.
At 869 Handyman wrote,
Silver 93 cent in 1963 and minimum wage was $1 po in T25 and silver $75 now? Are you making minimum wage? Doctors are worth more than minimum wage, so how much did they rob you of?
And not Soperviteplist 1771 wrote,
I celebrate the self-deletion rate of American doctors. I hope that most of you are going through hopelessness and despair, that there is no end. There is no mercy, there's no love, there's no God, there's no forgiveness. You don't go to heaven, and when you close your eyes for the last time, that's it. Go ahead and contribute to that if there's any doctors or nurses here. Go ahead and contribute to that self-deletion medical doctor percentage rate. I would love to hear about an uptick in the rest of you taking care of yourself, so to speak, ridding yourself from this world that you were never welcomed in. You are never one of us. You were traitors. You love anyone but yourself.
As C.B. Tucker Art wrote,
People are quitting going to the doctor. For heaven's sake, stop signing the back of your license to give away your organs, because the people aren't getting them for free, and doctors are getting rich off of your dead family members. Who knows, maybe they die in surgery because they just want the organs. It is a sick, twisted, nasty world. God help us all.
At Mr. Pibb Zero wrote,
I just completed my externship yesterday. Epiphany 2026. Frickin' unpleasant experience. I'm on track to graduate, full scholarship, but I'm content letting the people eat healthy and letting natural selection run its course.
At the Mystically Minded 4852 wrote,
I have insurance. I don't have a doctor. I left my only small-town practice because the doctor decided he didn't feel comfortable continuing to refill my metoprolol, prescribed by my former cardiologist from another state. It was prescribed to help control my PVCs, which started up with my other POTS symptoms. Well, this last towny doctor decided he didn't like me on it because of my low normal blood pressure. even though I've always had blood pressure and had low BP for the multiple years I've been on the metoprolol. So now I'm stuck scrabbling to find at least a doctor who won't actively try to harm me. Sorry, but I have no love for the majority for doctors.